May 17th, 1944. Over the skies of Burma, 15 Japanese Falcons burst from the clouds, Zeros and Hayabusas diving straight into 4 skull-nosed P-40s of the Burma Banshees. Tracers slash the air. Engines scream. Sunlight blinds the cockpit. And in the middle of it all, Lieutenant Phil Adair realizes they've flown straight into a trap. But somehow, against all odds, every single one of them will make it home. This was northern Burma, spring of 1944. The Allied push toward Myitkyina had begun a key airfield and rail hub the Japanese could not afford to lose. Taking it meant reopening the Burma Road, the lifeline to China, and to do that, the skies had to be ours. That job fell to the 80th Fighter Group, known as the Burma Banshees. Their call sign, Bamboo. Dig. Leading today's mission, Lieutenant Phil Adair, a battle-tested pilot who'd flown countless sorties over this unforgiving jungle. On his wing, T.J. O'Connor, little Okie eager, brave, but with far less combat experience. Rounding out the flight were Tom Rogers and Martinez's steady hands in the fight to keep the Banshees alive. Their mounts, Curtiss P-40 Warhawks, rugged, heavily armed with 6 .50 caliber Brownings, perfect for boom and zoom attacks, but no match for Japanese fighters in a turning dogfight. On May 17th, their orders were clear. Approach from the north, bombs and drop tanks loaded, and hit Japanese positions to support Chinese and American troops locked in bitter combat below. The first pass was textbook. Bombs away, direct hits. The jungle canopy erupted into fire and smoke. The ground shook beneath the Japanese positions. Pulling up at a steep 45 degrees, I caught a glint in the sun and froze. 3 flights, more than 15 Zeros and Hayabusas dropping out of the clouds. They had us bracketed. Bandits.
Mayday, mayday.
11 o'clock high. I barked over the radio. Little Okie, drop your bombs and turn into the clouds. Go now. His tank was stuck. 4 enemy fighters were already diving on him. I punched through the clouds after him, but when I broke out the other side, he was gone. Instead, 4 Zeros were coming straight at me. I charged head on. 3 peeled left before I could fire, but number 4 kept coming. I waited until he filled my sight, then squeezed the trigger. The instant I did, the airplane just disintegrated in front of me. Then another bogey locked on. We closed fast, both firing. I couldn't see his bullets, but I could see the tracers. His canopy swelled huge in my gun sight before he flashed overhead so close I felt the whomp of his slipstream. I rolled inverted, spotted him below, and dove. Lined up the deflection, squeezed. His wing tore away, and the fuselage cartwheeled into the mountainside. Two confirmed kills. No idea how many I'd hit, but my bird was bleeding holes in the skin. Fuel running low. Then I saw them 5 more. No altitude advantage. Nowhere to run but straight ahead. They closed fast. Tracers slashed past my canopy. I yanked hard. The P-40 shuddering under the strain. The world spun in silver and sky. Through the chaos, I saw my only chance, a thick wall of cloud wrapped around a rock spire. One mistake and I'd smash into stone. I dove straight in, missed the rock by yards. And when I punched out the other side, there was nothing but open sky to the north. Bamboo 2. Come in. O'Connor. Do you copy? I circled alone, calling for my flight. Nothing. For the first time, I thought I'd lost them all. Then out of the haze, a familiar shape. It was little Okie, limping, low, but alive. He'd taken a cannon hit that blew away his canopy. He was bleeding bad, but his engine was still running. Bamboo leader. This is Bamboo 3. It's Tom Rogers. I'm circling over Sadia. My tires are flat. I can't land alone. We were running low on fuel, but I wasn't leaving him behind. We formed up Okie in front, His airspeed indicator still good. Roger's behind, ready to stop fast on those flat tires. I'd bring up the rear. As I rolled to a stop, I saw Martinez already on the ground untouched. 4 went out. 4 came back. Oki was in bad shape. He never flew again. A few years later, the wounds took him for good. Roger's plane had 123 bullet holes. Mine wasn't far behind. But that day, in the skies over Burma, the Burma Banshees came home. Tactically, the mission was a success. 4 P-40s went out. 4 came back. At least 3 Japanese fighters were destroyed.
Keep your eyes peeled.
And for the troops fighting below in the jungles of Myitkyina, the skies stayed ours. But beyond the numbers, it was about something more: trust in your wingman, the courage to turn back into the fight, and the skill to walk that razor's edge between life and death. On that day over Burma, it wasn't just bullets that flew. It was split-second choices,
Hang on, mate, we got you.
and a brotherhood that refused to let anyone be left behind.